Hey folks, today we're going to learn how to slide the left-hand fingers on the fiddle. We'll learn some obvious big slides. We'll also learn to do sliding in a more transparent way. So now that you get the basic idea, let's learn how to do it. Before we get started, I just want to say that this is an intermediate lesson. If you're an absolute beginner, I suggest you hold off on learning slides for the moment because you really want to focus on playing in tune without slides. You want to get very grounded in that fundamental tuning ability. And plus, if you start to learn slides too early, they become a crutch and you end up needing them to get into the right tuning of the note. So, if you're an intermediate level player, I think you're good to go on this lesson. And if you've studied the low first, low second, third, and low fourth, then you could warm up by practicing all those notes. If you know the chromatic scale, that would also be a good warm up. If you don't, that's okay. I think you can do this anyway. Let's start by sliding the fingers just on the D string. And we're going to do a 3-step process in order to learn sliding. By the way, we're going to be doing upward sliding, so sliding up into a note. All right, so the first thing I want you to do is to practice where your finger will begin going to where it will end. So we're going to do a slide up into D1. So that means we'll practice going from D low 1 to D1 without sliding, like so. So D low 1 to D1. So it's once on D low 1, then 3 times on D1. Actually lift that finger. You want to have separate notes for now. And so do that a bit on your own. And then once you feel like you've got those finger positions down, then we're going to do the slide just on its own. We're going to go from low 1 to 1. Make it a big, obvious, slow slide. Just to help yourself learn it. Allowing your fingers time to really find the spot where they're going to. You can use an E drone to help you practice this because D1 is E. You'll really hear it come into tune when you land there. And then if you get that down, try a quicker slide. So for the quick little slide, as I call it, you don't go all the way back to D low 1. You maybe just start at D1 and just pull your finger back a teeny bit and slide into it. So if you do it with a drone track, then you can do it at your own pace. You can just really take your time. You can experiment with different things. You can go between the big slow slide and the little quick slide, okay? So now what I want to do is just give you some little exercises that you can practice to get this. So we're still sliding into D1. We're going to now loop on this exercise. We're going to go D low 1 to 1. Big slow slide. Slurring those 2 notes. So we're slurring the first 2 notes. Slur down. Now go up. And it's just a greasy, slow slide. And you can use whatever kind of grease you want. I don't care. It can be coconut oil, margarine, anything that just adds a little grease to it. All right, and then in the next exercise, we'll do a quick little slide, less grease, more healthy, unsaturated fats. So same exercise, all on D1, but we're going to do a quick little slide on the first D1. All right, so that's the 3-step process. We start with separate notes, then we go to slow, big slides, and then we go to a quick little slides. And now I'm just going to give you kind of an exercise that alternates between slow and quick slides. So we're going to do the Hoe Down pattern. We're going to do it once with a slow slide and then with a quick slide. Slow. All right. So now let's practice that exercise with a play along track from the FiddleHed lesson page. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So remember that these 4 exercises can be practiced at your own pace or with a play along track. If you practice on your own without the track, you may want to use an E drone, and then that way you can vary the tempo. You can start slow and then maybe speed it up. The other advantage is that once you get the idea on D1 using an E drone, you can then extend this and do it on other strings using the same finger. So we'll go over to G string. We're going to do the same set of exercises with G1, but you'll use an A drone. So you could do separate notes, no sliding. Then you could do a slow, big slide. Slow, big, big, slow. And then you could do the quick little slides. And then the Hoe Down exercise, alternating between big and little slides. If we were to do the same set of exercises on A1, since that's a B note, we use a B drone. And then on E1, we'll use an F sharp drone. All right, so we're going to learn these same 4 exercises on the other fingers. So now that I've kind of explained this in detail using D1, I'll move more quickly through the rest of the lesson. So for D2, we will slide from D low 2 to D2, from F to F sharp. And the second exercise, big slow slides, quick little slide, and then alternating between the 2 kinds of slides. And so you master all 4 exercises on D2, then do it on G2. And on the FiddleHed page, I'll go into detail on exactly what drone you use for each one. You don't have to use a drone, but practicing with the drone is cool and helpful. First of all, because it'll just sound more musical, but also it'll really help you play in tune, because sliding is challenging. You can lose the sense of where the final note should be. And so having that drone track is very key. It's like it helps you land in the right place. Or having a play along track, because then that way you hear where you're supposed to wind up. All right. If you've been playing a while, that might be less necessary, but I think anybody could benefit from it. All right, so then moving on, third finger, we use the same principle. We start with separate notes. You may want to start with going D2, 3, 3, 3, and then low 3 to 3. So we have, for this, it's a little different. We have that a little preliminary step. It's a little easier to do D2 to 3, and then low 3 to 3. And then once you get that down, and you may need to spend a little extra time on that, but if you get that, then we do the big slow slide with D3, G drone if you're using drones, or you can do the quick little slide. See how transparent you can make it. Maybe you barely hear it. Finally, do a hoe down alternating between the 2. big, quick. And finally, fourth finger, we can go low 4 to 4. If you want a preliminary step, you could do raise 3rd to 4, and then low 4 to 4. Big slow slide, quick little slide, Hoe Down. And that's it. And again, for each of these fingers, you can just translate it to another string. And you can even use other rhythms. You could start to experiment. What I like to do is suggest certain simple exercises and then kind of hint at other things you can do, because then it spurs you on to be a more creative musician, a more creative student. So maybe you could try that last exercise with triplets. Or some other rhythm, tucka. Let's see, D2 with tucka. You see, you can just once you start pulling on all the other things you know, you can really stay with a simple exercise for a long time. It's really what creativity is all about to me, and what fiddling is all about. It's the art and practice combined. So very cool. This has been fun showing you this. I love doing slides. I use them a lot. I use a lot of transparent slides, and then I've also been on my own doing more big slides, trying to play with a single finger. So it's something that I still am studying. Anyway, the next lesson that I do on sliding will be on how to add it to tunes. So stay tuned for that. I think you'll enjoy that if you enjoyed this. And thanks so much for watching. I'm having a fun time teaching you this. It's a subject that I like, and I appreciate all your good feedback. Helps me teach you better. Okay, cool. See you soon. Go to FiddleHed.com for a progressive, step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play-along tracks, sheet music, and much more. Thanks for watching the video. Excellent! And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.